Have you ever watched a leaf fall? It doesn't crash down. It drifts slow, quiet, barely noticed until one day it's no longer on the branch. That's what losing your balance after 70 often feels like. Not a sudden collapse, just a quiet shift, a little wobble when you stand too fast, a step that lands heavier than it used to, a moment on the stairs where your heart skips not from joy, but from fear. And perhaps the most heartbreaking part, many women don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. Patricia, 74, once told me something that stayed with me. I thought I was just slowing down. But then I fell in my own kitchen home, my safe place, and I realized I didn't feel steady in my own life anymore. That quiet loss of footing, of confidence, of independence sneaks in under the radar. And yet, here's the part no one tells you. It's not your age that's the real problem. It's the 4 common small, daily mistakes that most older women unknowingly repeat. Doctors see this every day. A slight stoop becomes a shuffle. A missed meal becomes weakness. A skipped walk becomes fear of falling. But what if I told you that regaining your balance literally and emotionally might be closer than you think? In the next few minutes, you'll discover 4 surprisingly simple mistakes that silently erode balance after 65, and more importantly, what you can do right now to stop the slip. This isn't about training like an athlete or spending hours in physical therapy. It's about gentle shifts in your day-to-day that restore not just your footing, but your confidence, your freedom, and the joy of moving through life without fear. And stay with me until the very end, because the final mistake is the one most overlooked by women over 70. Yet, changing it could mean the difference between needing help to stand up or dancing barefoot in your own kitchen again. Now, I want to hear from you. Type 1 in the comments if this speaks to you. If not, I welcome your thoughts. Type 0 and tell me what would help. This is your space, and I'm listening. Let's begin. Number 1. The soft chair trap. How comfort quietly weakens you. When you imagine a trap, you might think of something loud, sudden, even violent. But for many women over 70, the most dangerous trap for balance is the one that feels gentle, even comforting. The soft chair, that recliner by the window, the deep cushioned couch you sink into after breakfast, the good armchair you bought after your hips started aching. These spots become daily havens, yet they might also be slowly unraveling the very strength that keeps you upright. You see, balance isn't just about your ears or your brain's coordination. It's about muscle memory, micro-adjustments, the quiet dance between your hips, spine, and ankles every time you shift your weight or reach for a glass. But here's the hard truth. Every hour you spend sunk into a too soft seat is an hour your body forgets how to perform that dance. Why? Because soft chairs reduce demand on your core. They ask nothing from your glutes. They cushion your spine into a slouch. They lull your nervous system into a state of rest that, over time, becomes the new normal. That's how it begins. Not with a dramatic fall, but with the body slowly forgetting how to hold itself up. And when you stand after sitting too long in these chairs, the legs are unprepared. The knees may tremble. The back may feel uncertain. Your own body, once your steady ally suddenly, feels like unfamiliar territory. My patient, Shirley, 76, used to spend most of her afternoons watching her favorite shows in her recliner. She told me, "It felt like the only place my body didn't hurt." But then she started noticing something else. When she'd get up to answer the door or fix tea, she'd lose her footing. "My legs felt like they didn't belong to me," she whispered. "This isn't weakness. It's memory loss, muscle memory, that is. And the good news? It can be reversed. The key is strategic discomfort. Not pain, not punishment. Just enough movement to remind your body what it's capable of. Start small. Swap 1 hour in the recliner for a firmer kitchen chair. Sit near the edge. Feet flat on the floor. Back upright. Try standing up and sitting down 5 times before lunch, not fast, but mindfully, with control. Notice how your legs respond, how your spine elongates, how your body begins to wake up again. Add in one more habit. Place something you use often, your tea mug, your remote, your favorite book on a slightly higher shelf, one that requires you to reach, to stretch gently. These tiny demands teach your muscles to engage again, to participate in your daily life instead of fading into background noise. And if you're able, consider setting a small time reverie, 45 minutes. Just rise from your seat, take 5 steps, then return. That's it. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. You need reminders, gentle nudges that say, "I still want to move. I still can." Because you're not fragile glass. You are sea stone weathered, but solid, capable of softening and strengthening all at once. And when your body learns that again, when it reclaims the quiet strength that's been waiting beneath the surface, you'll be amazed at what returns with it. Confidence, freedom, and yes, balance, no, just of body, but of spirit. Let's move on to the next mistake. It's one that many believe is just part of aging, but in reality, it's one of the most preventable sources of instability for older women, and correcting it could change how you walk through every room in your home. Ready? Let's keep going. Number 2. The empty glass effect. How dehydration silently steals your stability. Picture your body like a houseplant. It might still stand tall after a missed watering, maybe even 2, but eventually the leaves droop, the soil cracks, the plant's internal rhythm falters not from age, but from neglect. That's exactly how dehydration affects balance in older women. Not with a bang, but with a quiet unraveling of strength, coordination, and clarity. You see, as we age, our sense of thirst becomes less reliable. The body's signals weaken. What once felt like a dry throat or an urgent need to sip water now passes quietly, barely noticed. Add to that the common fear of too many bathroom trips or medications that act as diuretics, and you've got a perfect storm. Many older women are walking around like half-watered gardens. They look okay, they function, but beneath the surface, things are faltering. Why does this matter for balance? Because your muscles, your nerves, your joints, every part of the system that keeps you upright relies on water. Your muscles need hydration to contract and relax smoothly. Your joints need fluid to glide without friction. Your brain, especially the part that helps coordinate movement, depends on water to process signals quickly and accurately. When you're even slightly dehydrated, those systems slow down. That's when the missteps happen. A stumble on the curb, a foot that lands a little too hard, a dizzy spell when you stand from the couch. And sadly, most women don't realize their unsteadiness is linked to something as simple and solvable as not drinking enough water. Let me tell you about Nancy. She's 79 and lives alone in a small apartment in Minnesota. A fiercely independent spirit. For years, she prided herself on keeping her routines. Morning coffee, afternoon walk, crossword puzzles at night. But recently, her daughter called me, worried. Nancy had started having near falls. She was feeling off, she said. My balance is changing, she admitted. But I haven't changed anything. Except she had. She'd quietly cut back on fluids. Her concern about getting up at night had grown. She was drinking less after 6 p.m., then less at lunch, until she was down to maybe 2 glasses a day. Her body, like that neglected plant, was no longer thriving. When we gently added back a hydration rhythm half, a glass of warm lemon water in the morning, herbal tea mid-morning, a glass with lunch, and a small one before dinner, something beautiful began to happen. Nancy stood taller. Her step steadied. The fog, she described, began to lift. Her daughter told me, it's like her body remembered how to move again. That's what hydration does. It doesn't just quench thirst. It lubricates life. So if you're someone who struggles to drink plain water, you're not alone. Many older adults find cold water harsh or unappetizing. That's okay. The solution isn't to force gallons down your throat. It's to nourish yourself in ways your body welcomes. Try this. Warm your water slightly and add a slice of cucumber or a few mint leaves. Keep a beautiful ceramic mug by your favorite chair, something that feels like a treat, not a task. Drink in rhythms, not all at once. A few sips before every meal. A few more when you first sit down to rest. Choose hydrating foods. Watermelon, cucumbers, oranges, brothy soups. These carry water into your system gently, naturally. Your body is more receptive than you think. And here's something else mild. Dehydration often brings with it fatigue, lightheadedness, even heart palpitations. These can mimic other conditions and send you chasing false alarms, when really, your cells are simply crying out for water. So if you've felt off, lately wobbly, tired, less steady than usual before blaming age or medication, ask yourself, have I watered my roots today? You deserve to feel grounded. You deserve to trust your own legs when you stand. And sometimes, the path back to balance begins not with a new pill or fancy program, but with a glass of water, gently held, sipped slowly, like an offering to your own strength. We'll move now to the third mistake, perhaps the most emotional one, because it's not about what you do or don't drink. It's about what you no longer do at all, and how that quiet absence chips away at the body's will to move. Let's continue. Number 3. The vanishing walk. How stillness shrinks your balance from the inside out. Think of a garden path. The more it's walked, the clearer it becomes. The stones stay pressed, the weeds pulled back, the route familiar. But leave it alone for too long and nature reclaims it. The path becomes overgrown, uneven, uncertain. That's exactly what happens inside the body when we stop walking regularly after 65. It's not just that the muscles weaken, it's that the internal pathways that once guided movement nerve connections, muscle coordination, spatial awareness start to fade from disuse. Stillness doesn't just settle in your legs. It takes root in your brain, your hips, even your confidence. For many older women, the daily walk quietly disappears. First, it's a rainy day that keeps you inside. Then, it's an ache in your knee, a worry about ice on the sidewalk. The walk becomes once a week, then only to the mailbox then. Not at all. And here's the dangerous part. It doesn't feel like quitting. It feels like being cautious, like taking it easy. But inside, your body is losing its map. Let's talk about what walking actually does for your balance. Every step you take is a full-body conversation. Your feet send signals to your brain. Your inner ear adjusts to movement. Your eyes scan the horizon. Your spine reacts to slight shifts. Your calves, thighs, glutes, they coordinate in a seamless, elegant rhythm. But when walking becomes rare, that rhythm unravels. Muscles forget their cues. Reflexes slow. Joints stiffen. And worst of all, your sense of movement, the inner awareness of where your body is in space dulls. This is why many falls don't come from tripping. They come from a tiny misjudgment. A step that lands too close. A turn that throws off your center. A mind that's no longer in sync with the body. I once worked with Helen, age 81, a former teacher and avid gardener. I used to walk every morning before breakfast, she told me. But once the arthritis came, I started staying in. Just a few weeks in, I felt unsure, even standing in the kitchen. Helen hadn't lost her strength. She'd lost her rhythm. We started with what I call anchored walks. Instead of long outdoor strolls, we had her walk from one room to another, slowly, barefoot when safe, focusing on feeling the ground. 3 times in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 10 steps each time. Purposeful, present. Within 2 weeks, she was asking to go out on the porch again. And from there, we expanded the rhythm. A few steps around the house, holding onto the back of a chair, adding turns, practicing stepping over a pillow. We weren't exercising. We were reminding her body how to move with grace. That's the heart of it. Balance doesn't come from brute strength. It comes from movement memory. And movement memory only stays alive if it's used like that garden path, kept clear by daily footsteps. Here's how you can start reopening that inner trail. Create a ritual walk even if it's just 3 minutes. Around the living room. Down the hall. Back again. Do it at the same time each day. Use furniture as support, not avoidance. Walk with a hand on the wall or counter. Not to lean, just to feel steadier as you rebuild trust. Walk with musica, soft rhythm, something familiar. Let your steps follow the beat. This reawakens the mind-body link in ways that words can't. Narrate as you move. Yes. Talk to yourself. Left foot. Right foot. Stand tall. These cues anchor your awareness and sharpen coordination. It doesn't need to be far. It doesn't need to be fast. But it needs to be daily. Because stillness is sneaky. It dresses up as comfort. It tells you to just rest today. But underneath, it's dismantling the architecture of balance. And when you choose movement, even gently, even slowly, you reclaim that architecture. You rebuild not just muscle but orientation. A sense of self in space. So ask yourself, when was the last time you took a walk just for the feeling of moving? Not for errands, not to get somewhere, but simply to remind your body that it still knows the way. Because it does. It always has. Next, we'll explore the final and perhaps most under-acknowledged mistake that chips away at stability in women over 70. It has nothing to do with your muscles or your bones, and everything to do with how you carry time itself. Number 4. The rushing mind, frozen body. How mental hurry triggers physical instability. Balance is often thought of as something physical, what your legs do, how your feet land, how straight your spine stays. But for many women in their 70s and beyond, the true disruption to balance begins not in the knees or hips, but in the mind. Have you ever stood up too quickly? only to feel your vision narrow or your feet unsteady. That moment is more than just blood pressure. It's a tug-of-war between a racing thought and a slower body or mind still moving at the pace it always has, paired with a body that now needs just a few more seconds to respond. This disconnection is what I call the rushing mind, frozen body syndrome. It shows up in quiet ways. When you try to do too much at once, like answering the phone while grabbing your glasses and walking to the kitchen, or when you mentally skip ahead 3 steps while your body hasn't completed the first. The result? Trips, stumbles. That heart-pounding moment where you feel the floor tilt beneath you. The irony is, many older women don't consider themselves rushed. They're often retired. The calendar is lighter, the days quieter. But the inner pace, the mental load of thinking, worrying, remembering, planning, can be just as overwhelming as a packed schedule. It's the silent urgency of aging. Remember to take the pill at 10. Don't forget the doctor's appointment next Tuesday. Call Susan back. Pay the utility bill. Refill the prescription. These thoughts spin fast. They create tension. And tension in the brain turns into stiffness in the body. Muscles brace. Shoulders lift. Steps shorten. The breath shallows. Over time, this invisible pressure creates a body that forgets how to move with fluidity. Instead, it moves in jerks and starts, like a car driven with both feet on the gas, the other on the brake. Joan, a 73-year-old widow I worked with, once described it this way: "My body feels like it's stuck in molasses, but my brain won't stop racing." She wasn't imagining it. Her nervous system was in a constant state of readiness. Not the good kind, but the anxious, low-grade alertness that saps energy and stiffens joints. We began retraining her sense of internal pace. Not with yoga, not with long meditations, just with a practice I call pause before move. Before standing, she'd stop and take one full breath. Before turning a corner, she'd whisper the word, "Now." Before lifting something, she'd pause and notice her feet. At first, it felt awkward. "Too slow," she said. But within weeks, her walking became smoother. She felt less startled by daily life. Her shoulders, once tight as ropes, began to relax. The body began to trust the mind again. Because balance isn't only about strength, it's about sequencing, about your mind and muscles working as partners, not competitors. And when your thoughts race ahead of your steps, the partnership breaks down. Here's how to rebuild it. 1. Create intentional slowness. Practice moving with half speed once a day. Try this when brushing your teeth, standing from a chair, or making tea. Slower doesn't mean weak. Ichrit means aware. 2. Use anchor words. Pick one simple phrase like steady or I'm here. Repeat it mentally when transitioning between position sitting to standing, lying to walking. This grounds your awareness in the body. 3. Limit multitasking. Avoid carrying 2 things and thinking about a third. Hold the railing and focus only on the step. This isn't limitation, it's precision, and precision protects you. 4. Schedule brain rests. Set a reminder twice a day, just 2 minutes. Sit, breathe, let your mind untangle. These short resets have profound effects on balance because they reset the nervous system's overload. There's another layer here, to something deeper. Many women in this age group carry a lifetime of movement done for others. They rushed for children, hurried to care for parents, juggled work, homes, meals, medications, paperwork, movement, for decades, was about survival and serving. Slowing down now isn't just about balance. It's about reclaiming your right to move for yourself, to shift from urgency to choice, from habit to presence. Imagine this. Every step you take from now on is a conscious act of self-respect. You feel the floor. You breathe. You give yourself space. And from that space, balance is reborn not just in your gait, but in your way of living. As we move into the final section, I invite you to pause again just for a moment. Reflect on what you've read so far. Maybe even stand, slowly, and feel your own body respond. Because what comes next isn't about mistakes anymore. It's about possibility, renewal, and the quiet, powerful truth that you're not done yet. Maybe no one ever told you that balance isn't just physical. It's emotional, spiritual. It's how you meet each moment with steadiness or hesitation, with a deep breath or a shallow rush, with trust or with fear. And maybe, like so many women I've worked with, you didn't realize how slowly it slips away, not with a crash, but with tiny trades, a soft chair instead of a walk, a skipped sip of water, a distracted step, a silent rush inside the mind. But here's what matters most. You noticed. You're here. You're paying attention. And that tells me something powerful. It means you still care deeply about your independence, your confidence, your freedom to move through life on your own 2 feet, literally and figuratively. You are not fragile. You are not finished. You are simply being asked to listen more closely to your body's quiet voice. That voice is wise. It's not angry you've made mistakes. It's not interested in blame. It just wants to be heard. So if something in this message stirred a memory, a hope, a whisper of, maybe I can do something about this, hold on to that. Let it move you. Let it become the first step. A step toward firmer footing. A step toward standing not just upright but fully present. And as you begin to adjust these small daily habits, I hope you begin to feel something returning. Your steadiness, your rhythm, your right to feel strong in the world again. If this spoke to you, I invite you to keep walking this path with me. There are more ways to restore what time and tension have taken, and I'd love to share them with you. Click to join me in the next video. Let's keep going one grounded, graceful step at a time. And remember, this video is meant for education and inspiration, not as a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your health routine. You're not here by accident. Your body still remembers. And your next step starts now.